Hi, thanks for choosing Decorating Magic. I'm Susan, and today I'd like to show you how to make a couple of different Christmas wreaths. The first one we're going to make is this little twig wreath. It's very simple and charming. I use magnolia, pine cones, and berries. I'm going to take it apart now and then show you how to put it together. Okay, I've taken the wreath apart and laid out all the pieces on the table. Everything on this table cost me less than $5 because I either already had it or I bought it at a thrift store. Here's some of the tools you'll need: floral wire, wire cutters, scissors, and maybe some floral pins, which are just little sticks that have the wire already attached to them. Now, some of the things I might be using are these pine cones, this ribbon, this burlap, maybe some raffia. I've got white magnolia, magnolia leaves. I've got this darker magnolia, and I've got my viney berries. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to put it together yet, but I'm going to place it and then wire it in. I know I want to use my viney berries. I love these. I've had these for decades and I use them over and over and over. So I'm going to just twine these in. These really don't need to be pinned in. You just kind of stick them, twine them into the twigs, and they will stay. I've got 3 pieces, I think. So I'm just sort of distributing them so that there's kind of berries on all part of the wreath. And again, I'm just sort of winding them into the twig wreath. And here's my last piece. I just love this stuff. It's just so wild and tangly. There. Now I like these darker magnolias, but I think I'm going to use the white ones. Just there's not enough room on the wreath to use both, and I think I just like these better. I think they show up better against the wreath. And I want to show you something about artificial flowers. Most of them are wired. Like when I bought this originally, and the leaves were just all smashed up. But you can reshape them. You can work with them, reform them. So if you see something when you're out and about that looks terrible, you'll probably be able to revive it. Now I'm going to show you how to pin them in. Now I'm simply going to take the stem and insert it into the twig wreath. And then I'll take my floral wire and secure it. Okay, there it is. I've got my wire. Go to the back and wrap it around the stem and the twig wreath. And then I'll just go around and put the rest of the magnolias in. And then I'm going to add the pine cones, I've decided. Let me show you how you wire a pine cone. You really just take a long piece of wire and you get it snug inside the cavity. Pull it through and twist. And then you can attach it to your wreath. I have everything attached to the wreath, and now I'm going to think about a bow. I had some bows left over from last year. This one's all smushed up. This one I've already taken apart and smoothed out the fabric, and I'm just going to make a bow. And I don't really make bows. I make 2 loops, about like that. I'm trying to make sure the tails are about the same size. Then I just take a piece of wire, go right down the middle, and then I twist one wire one way, the other wire in the opposite direction, making sure I go all the way around. Then I pull tight and twist, and there you have a bow. Now I could have done a little better on the tail lengths there, but just for now. So if we wanted to have a bow like that, you could just wire it in like that. But I want to try a few different options, okay? I do like that. But also, I think you might notice on more expensive wreaths that there's usually ribbon that's twined all the way around it. That takes about 6 feet of ribbon. I'm going to leave a little tail. And I'm going to put it through first before I pin it in. But basically what you do is you just kind of twine it in and out. And I kind of turn it so that the ribbon twists. And you just work it through the whole wreath until you've got it the way you like it, and then you can secure it in with wire. You just kind of have to play with it and get it where you want it to be. And then you would end up where the other tail is and just make a bow. Now that is nice, but I think it kind of crowds this little wreath. And I think that that ribbon might be a little bit too fancy. You could use burlap. Burlap is very big right now. You see it in little rolls for sale, and that would be more in keeping with this wreath. I've got some here, but I think this is too wide. Plus, I don't really like the writing on there. But you can kind of get the idea of what working burlap through this wreath would look. That would look nice. I think I'm going to use raffia, just because this little wreath is so natural looking. I think the raffia will be in keeping. And I'm using a little floral pin, and I'm just wrapping some raffia onto it, and then I'm just going to insert the pin down through the twigs, and I'll probably do 3 or 5 of these. And I don't think I'm going to have a bow. I think I'm just going to have the raffia coming out. I think I need one more. You can see I just sort of wad it up. There we go. And I think that's very pretty. It's just a very natural little country style twig wreath for Christmas. I hope I gave you some good ideas. Now I'm going to make a few others, so I'm going to clean up this table and get started. This next wreath that I'm going to make, I'm making for a friend, Audrey. These are her colors. She just loves these colors. And what we're going to do is cover this wire frame with some fabric here. You could use ribbon, but this fabric will just be quicker. Now, Audrey and I bought these garlands at a wholesale florist store that's open to the public after Christmas one year. And as I remember, we paid $1.50 a strand for those. So we got a lot of bang for our buck here. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to take this fabric, which was just something I already had. It's the right color. I'm going to kind of, not really tie it into the thing, but wrap it around here a few times just so it won't go away. And then I'm just going to take the fabric and twine it, so completely covering the wire. And this is about 6 feet of fabric and is long enough to cover this wreath. And then when I get to the end, I'll just tuck it in like I did the starting piece. I might have to I think I will take a little piece of wire and just secure it. That way we know it's not going to unravel. All right, now, well, I think what I'm going to do, since we have so many of these garlands, I think I am just going to wrap them around. I think I'll cut the tag off. And I'm basically just going to wrap them around the wreath just the way I did the fabric. And as you can hear, these are plastic ones. I love the good old-fashioned glass ornaments, but if this is going outside, you got to be practical. It's no fun sweeping up all that little bitty glass. All right, we've come to an end. I think what I'll do is take some wire and secure it, and then just keep going with the next garland. Conveniently, there's a little hoop right there. All right, so I've continued wrapping the garland around the wreath form. I ended up using 4 garlands, and when I came to the end of one, I would just simply take some wire and wire it to the next garland so that there wouldn't be any gaps and just be one continuous thread. So I ended up, like I say, using 4 garlands. So now I am going to add some little shiny baubles because there's not nearly enough on this wreath, is there? And I'm not wiring these in. These have long stems. I'm just kind of put them down through underneath the garland. They should stay in there pretty well. Okay, and now I'm going to add a ribbon. Now, I had this left over from last year, but that's all I had. But it was just the right color, so I'm going to add some more ribbon to it and make a bow. And again, I'm just going to do 2 loops like that. I kind of make sure the tails are about the right length. Then I'm going to take some wire, put it right through the middle, and take one wire one direction, and the other wire the opposite direction, making sure I go all the way around. And then you pull it tight and twist. Okay, and then you just sort of fluff it up a little bit. We've got 3 ribbons, so you can kind of pull them apart like that. And then just simply attach it to your wreath. Now I left a little tail here to attach my ribbon. So I'm just going to wire them together like that. This is a very inexpensive way to make your own personal style wreath, and it's a great gift if you want to make one for a friend who's got a particular color pattern or theme. This last wreath is my favorite, but it's not a wreath at all. It is a basket designed to hang on a door. I've already stuffed some paper down inside just to take up space inside. And then I've already soaked a floral foam piece of Oasis that I'll be sticking the live greenery down into. And then I put it in a gallon-sized baggie just to kind of keep it staying wet. I just set it down inside. This is what it looks like when you buy it. Now this is wet foam. It's for live plants. So now all I'm going to do is take some fresh magnolia, some fresh pine, and some nandina berries, and stick it into the floral foam. This piece is beautiful, but it's too big. So I'm going to clip it about here. I'm going to clip it at an angle so that the stem will drink up from the floral foam. Now that floral foam you should check probably once a week to make sure it's still wet. But this arrangement should last about a month. So I'm just sort of jamming it in. Again, this is very quick. I'm going to take off some of these lower leaves so that I can can reach down into the basket. Now, I get my magnolia from a friend, and pine, and then Dita berries. Most of the time I use a friend, but if you don't have a friend, I've been known to get fresh greenie from places like Office Parks or the grocery store. So again, I'm just jamming it down in there. Got a couple pieces. That's probably all we need. Now I'm going to use some pine. This pine is just beautiful. I've never seen pine with needles that long before. Again, I'm going to recut it at an angle. Be careful with pine because it's sappy. It's called pitch, and if it gets on your clothes, it really doesn't want to come off. And if you're allergic to pine, like I am, it'll kind of make you itch and sneeze. But this is going to be outside, so other than handling it right now, it really won't be around to bother me. I'm going to cut that one off. Like I said, just make sure your stem's getting down into the floral foam so that it has something to drink. And now, some berries. These are Nandina berries. And you don't have to use magnolia or pine. Use what's, I know that magnolia doesn't grow in a lot of areas, but just use whatever indigenous evergreens you have to your area. And you can have a lovely basket. That's beautiful. I'm going to put a little bit of curly willow in here. This is just something I had from another arrangement. Here's that bow I used, that I didn't use in that first arrangement, but I think I like it better without it. Just get those berries down in there. That's it. Anyhow, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. And be sure and subscribe to my channel and ask me any questions. Have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas.